Well, hello everyone. We are back for part two of the tour of the Top of the Lakes Vintage Snowmobile Museum out in Naubinway, Michigan, and we're here with Charlie Valier. How you doing, Charlie?
We're doing.
Good, good. Well, cool deal. Yeah, we had a good podcast going there last week, and then we had some technical issues on my side, and we had to cut it short. I apologize to both you and the viewers for that, but we're going to try to pick up where we left off and continue the tour this week, and we can go here for about an hour or so if that works for you.
Sure.
Cool. And then whenever you're ready, if you want to switch the camera around so that we can see.
Back around. Back camera.
There we go. Let me put you full screen. Right. And the show is all yours.
It's all mine. All right. I left off, you were asking about the Mercury Twin Track, I believe.
Yes.
So we'll go to the Mercury Twin Track. Right here. There's the Mercury Twin Track, the only Mercury Twin Track made. Everybody knows the Mercury as a twister. Well, some guys know them. They call them the old black ones.
Sure.
But the story on this was Gary Gilbertson, the engineer for the snow division for Mercury, wanted oval racing. He wanted to go fast, turn left. So he came up with this. He worked on it for 3 years. And then in 1976, when Mercury got out of the snowmobile side of it to go to their boat motor, this was put in a box, taken apart, put in a box, and one of my buddies found it, reassembled it, and here it is today, setting. But the go fast, turn left, I was going to show you these tracks. There's one track, and you see it's the full cleated. The inside track is every other one is a full cleat. It's a real light sled. I'll show you how easy it is to pick up. It's just lighter.
Wow, yeah.
Push it around. Gary, the engineer, when he was here, he gets on the back of it right here, and he stands on that. The track never leaves the ground. He can pick up one corner, which I might be able to do myself. Well, I guess I can't. You can pick up one track, and the other track stays on the ground or snow. He did an awesome job. He had plans to put a skin on it, he called it.
Sure.
But I think it's kind of cool. They worked on that in 74, 75, and 76. But then over here, this is what Mercury started with.
Yeah.
1968. And back there is the Mercury two-man chainsaw. It's got a Mercury Kiefhofer motor on it. They used that motor in this sled. Wasn't any good. It would burn pistons. I have one. Yes, I had to change pistons in it. But it's kind of cool. They went from this in 1968 to I'll go over here and show you a twister. There's the twin track, and we have our twister setting over here.
Yes.
75 twister, but they went from 1968, this in 75, and also in 76. But meanwhile, they were working on this twin track. It's amazing what they did in a short number of years. In the 1970s, here in Michigan, the big enduro race, it's called the Sioux I-500. It's a 500-mile, 1-mile ice oval enduro run. In 1976, Mercury won that 500-mile enduro race, and then they were out of business the next year, out of the snowmobile business the next years.
Wow.
Kind of. Yeah. Anyway, yes, we took it out to Waconia, Minnesota, 3-4 years ago when Waconia was the featured sled, or when Mercury was the featured sled at Waconia. Marilyn, my wife, sat with this one, and the twister guys were wanting to know what the heck is that thing doing here. Well, it was here because Mercury was here. This is the Mercury. The twister guys had no idea what it was. It's kind of Anyway, here, we didn't get into this room last week, but there's Andy Miller from New York. His race sled that won the Eagle River a couple of years in a row. We've got his trophies right here with it. It says what year, but 2009 and 2010, right there, Eagle River.
Yeah.
And there's controversy there. Racing, there's controversy. Supposedly, this machine wasn't allowed to race anymore. Arguments about the front suspension, the independent. They didn't have independent. I don't. Lots of controversy. Always, I got a buddy who told me if you're not cheating, you ain't winning. In racing. I don't know. That was his version, not mine.
You got to find that edge.
Yeah. Here's a SRX Snow Pro 440 Yamaha.
Yeah.
We're back into our race section, somewhat of our race section.
Yeah.
There's a bull whip.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool looking sled. This was mine. It's got a Black Magic engine in it, not the Kahuni. Got a Scorpion Brute up here. Forgot the top shelf. Here we have a little snow pony painted purple.
Oh yeah. If you can tilt that camera up just a little bit more, we do have that banner across the top.
What was that?
If you could tilt the camera up just a little bit more, we've got that banner across the top. There we go. Perfect. Oh, sweet. Yeah. But please continue. Yep.
All right. And there's the Scorpion Brute.
Yeah.
I'm maybe too close.
No, that's good.
There's here Liquidator or Liquifire. Excuse me, Liquifire. That's just the way it was raced too. Kind of rough look.
Sure.
Got a Kawasaki. Let me get around here. I can back up a little more. There's the Kawasaki. We got all kinds of memorabilia on the wall. Down here on the bottom, we've got Team 34. It's a Polaris that was raced locally at the Suai 500, that 1 mile ice oval.
Yeah.
Local guy had that. We've got the RXL. It's cool. Right there. Well, I'm going to show you this. I don't know if I did last time, but I'm going to explain it to you again. This here one was donated by Bombardier. So anything donated by Bombardier has got that oval on it. Snowmobile gifted to the Top Lake Snowmobile Museum from Bombardier, Belcourt, Quebec. The story on that is I'll get a video going here too of the I-500. Bombardier 3-4 years ago was redoing their museum, so they were looking to get rid of 33 sleds. The first email we got said yes, we'd be interested, and then they said sorry, we'd rather give them to somebody in Canada. So we understood that. A year later, they called and wanted to know if we would still be willing to take these 33 unique sleds. Our board said yes, so we got 33 sleds from Bombardier, and we're patting ourselves on the back that they chose this museum to give those 33 sleds to. It's a real. Here's one right here, another one.
Sure.
Part of the agreement, it had to have this on. This is a phaser.
Yeah.
Part of the agreement was that it had to say that on. Back here, this is your neck of the woods here, this Gorski.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That's from your end of the world, a Gorski. It's very cool. Here's another sled that raced the Suai 500. Didn't win, but raced it. I don't know if you can see the sign up here, International I-500 Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. There's a starting line. It's kind of cool. We got all kinds of stuff. We got the video going the first 25 years of the I-500, Sioux I-500. This is a little controversy right here. This is the Chaparral, the number 40 sled. There's the actual photo from it. Story on this. Get back so you can see it.
Yeah. The
second year of the Sioux I-500 was 1970. This Chaparral won the second Sioux I-500. They gave the machine back to the Sioux I-500 committee. They had it stored in a garage. Somehow it got stolen. The guy that run it was Brown. His name was Brown. His nephew found parts and pieces and reassembled it according to pictures and from his uncle what went where and what was supposed to be. But just look how wide that seat is.
Yeah.
It's just huge. It's got the big old Hearth engine in it. But he restored it or redid it to a replica of what was actually raced that second Sioux I-500. The only thing original on it is this logo, the number 40 I-500. That was the banner. That was their number. That's the only thing that was left.
Wow. Did they ever recover that original sled?
Do we have one?
Did they ever recover that stolen sled?
Again?
Did they ever recover the stolen sled?
No, nobody knows where it's at.
Wow.
No, never. But the story is, and everybody tells this story, that remember that if you're not cheating, you ain't winning. Yeah. Supposedly, Chaparral had a trailer they had two sleds that looked identical. One would go in for repairs into the trailer, and the second one would go out and race while they're repairing the other one. Don't know if that's true or not. Of course, the guy that raced this says that's not true, but everybody tells that story.
Yeah.
Here's another cool thing. We've got all this is on the Sioux I-500. There's page after page of brochures and literature, all kinds of stuff on the Sioux I newspaper clippings. It's the race people really. There's pages and pages of articles. We tried to get it in order, but here's a picture.
That's a nice way to display that too.
Yes, all kinds of articles. Here's the first one. It was called a puffer. That was the first year, 1969. The number 13 sled was the winner. We had that in here for a while. It's gone, but we rotate sleds. All right, over here on the top shelf. Looks like a Scorpion, but it's a Sears. Next to it is a Ski Bee. Underneath it, we've got a rear engine Polaris. This was used here locally. Mackinac Island, 50 miles from here, it's a famous island, tourist island. The guy was an electrician in the wintertime. That's how we went back and forth to the island to do electrical work.
Wow.
The old Yamaha snow scoot. Got a Model 100. This was from Sheboygan. It was a big dealer, big time dealer in Sheboygan in the day. The Skidoo was there. Also, they were an Artie Cat Skidoo dealer. Sheboygan is just below the bridge for us. Yeah. Got a little Andy up here on top. And you see all the clothing. Artie Cat. John Deere, Kawasaki, another John Deere one. It looks like, I don't know what that one is there, Artie Cat or whatever. All kinds of clothing. I'm just kind of going around the room here. Here we have
an Artie Cat video game. Is that what I see there?
Arcade game.
Wow.
Yeah. Arctic, not Artie Cat, Arctic Thunder.
Arctic. Interesting.
Yep. That gets played by Arctic Thunder, it's called. It gets played by little kids, big kids, old people like me. It shakes and the wind blows in the face and the seat shakes, and it's kind of cool. Here's a really cool little sled too. The
Alouette.
That's awesome for a little. In fact, in those days, thought Kitty Cat was the sled. Well, Alouette made his junior brood. It's awesome looking sled. There's a swinger next to it. And there's a little Chimo.
Yeah.
I remember everybody thought Kitty Cat was the only one, but they were small ones made. And here's a little bit bigger one. Snow Prince. Yeah, everybody took a stab at it. Yes. Oh, there's a light back here. It didn't get turned on. Let me turn this light on. All right. Here's what we're into this kind of stuff. Homemade stuff. This was made we call below the bridge. Hubert, it was called, built in the 1950s. But the unique part about it, trying to get down here, those are saw blades from a chainsaw. This was strictly for the ice, so something was sharp. But that's back then the guys used what they had, so they took a used chainsaw bar. That was your skis or your to turn it. It was strictly for the ice. It's a bus seat from a school bus. Can't remember where the steering wheel came from. And it's got a Mercury Kefauver motor on it. And you can see the chain driven wheel with a chain on it. It was for the ice. Wanted to get further out into the ice fishing.
Yeah. Have you ever tried that?
The only one we know of like this one. Well, it's not mine, but the guy that it would go on the ice had to be ice. Couldn't have a bunch of snow on it.
Had to be glare ice.
Push itself along. Yeah. And then there again, the Mercury Kefauver motor that was in a 2-man chainsaw. That's what's on this.
Yeah.
It was a motor that was used. I see a Spitfire up there. Tradewinds Tiger. This just came in. They're just getting into the museum. It's called the Snowhawk, made in London, Ontario. Hasn't even just made it into the door. We got to get it in its right position, but we will. There's a Skidoo Alpine, like a 69. Here's a Fox Track just coming in. Another Tradewinds Tiger. These are here waiting to get in position. And we'll get them there.
Yeah.
Here's another made one made up in Houghton, up in the Keweenaw Peninsula, we call it, northern part of the UP. We're into the homemade stuff. Oh, this has got some, to switch subjects here. See the patch on that, the Ham's beer?
Yeah.
And then here's another Ham's beer patch. Ham's beer. Well, and there's blue ribbon patches. Like, we have a design guy here that took all these old blue ribbon and Schmidt's beer and all Hams, of course, and he made them into what we call our 16-inch squares, and we sell them in our gift shop, which we'll get to the gift shop later.
Wonderful. Yeah.
But that's where when I go talk about the 16 squares, that's where they came from.
Yeah.
This little bike here is another one with a tire and a small truck. It's supposed to be painted red, but the guy that owns it is a John Deere collector, so everything he has is painted John Deere green.
Yeah.
This is there's a picture of it to what it's supposed to look like, and it came with a kit also. Take the wheel off. Here's a home light. I gotta tell you about the Kissing Cousins. All right, so this says Larson.
Yeah.
And right next to it is a Eaton Viking. So I'll back up. You can see they're both identical.
Yeah.
If I can get the Eaton Viking sticker on it, it's down there. Right there it says Eaton 1968 Eaton Viking. And this one over here says 1968 Larson Eagle. Okay, Valdi Stefans, he was president of the Antique Club. He's got a story out on our webpage too that says the Kissing Cousins. These were made by Polaris Colts. As you can see, it's all Polaris. The Eaton Viking was sold at the Eaton department stores in Canada, and of course Larson was sold by the Larson Boat Company.
Yeah.
Identical machines. A lot of people were doing that back. Polaris was making them for other people.
A lot of private labeling.
Just like the home light. That's another one. It's all Polaris. What was that?
A lot of private labeling was being done back in the day.
All Polaris.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one part here you can tell the backrest right there on that one. See how it's curved?
Yeah.
Same identical thing on that one. Same identical thing on that one.
Wow, that's cool.
This we just got in the Snow Road. This came back from New York with us when we were out to the Vintage Magazine National Show and the Antique Club this past summer. We were there for that. And Ed Stab from New York, Boonville, New York, he wanted us to bring this back and put it in the museum with his name on it. So that's what we did. That's kind of a cool. It's made by Scorpion. It's the prototype one. Yes. There's the Elwet.
Cool. And this is a good opportunity for a quick shout out to our mutual friend Ed Stab.
Oh, yes. Yes, Ed's a good guy.
He sure is. Yeah. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Please continue.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Um, here's the Mallard. Mallard Coach Company. Here's another. This is Ed Hillary. It's made by ONC, sold by Sears. I gotta tell a little story about this one. I got a son-in-law. I've had one of these at home. It's mine's all original, and in the front is this decal, and it's got. I had no idea what it was. Well, my son-in-law was home at Christmas time one time here about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, and he's 50 sleds home in different garages, and he said, "What's that orange thing back there?" I said, "Well, it's a Hillary. It's made by Sears, called a Hillary." And so he's, "Will it run?" I said, "Yeah, it'll run." So we put some gas in it, brought it out into the sunlight, and got it running around the yard. And I said, "I have no idea why it's called a Hillary, you know." And he says, "Well, look at that emblem on the front. It says Ed Hillary." "Yeah, so what does that mean?" He said, my son-in-law had to tell me, "That's Ed Hillary. He was the first guy to climb Mount Everest. So Sears named that sled after Ed Hillary." Because
There you go. That
when you
makes sense.
have to get school from. Yeah, it does. Then I read in the history book. It did such a great job. They were servicing base camp. The snow sleds were servicing base camp, and it did such a great job that they named the sled after Ed Hillary because he was the first one. But it's kind of embarrassed to get schooled from your son-in-law. You're supposed to be smarter than your son-in-law.
Sure.
And next to it is another Sears, another one made by OMC. The Hillary is a 68, and this 71. Same thing. Different hood is all. Everything else, you can see the tunnels are pretty much the same. One's a 15-inch track, one's an 18-inch track. A snow job, kind of cool. And here's another different one.
Caribou.
A Caribou. Caribou, no skis, 2 tracks. You run it like a little bulldozer.
A little skid steer,
This is mine. It's a little skid steer. Yep, it's different to run. You can parallel park it by just steering backward, forward. You can actually parallel park it. A little different.
Yeah.
Get out of the way. What else we got? This is one of my favorites, I could say. The 69 Hornet. There was very like 12 or 15 of these made, maybe not even that many. Of course, this came with the wheel kit or skis. Guy in Minnesota owns it. He told me we do a bridge crossing. The Mackinac Bridge is the big deal. It's 5-mile suspension bridge, connects the 2 peninsulas.
Yeah.
So the tractors cross it, the 4-wheelers cross it. So about 5 years ago, we got to do it. Now the snowmobiles cross it. And Tony owns this one, and Tony said, "Well, take it across the bridge." No, that's all right. I'll take my own across the bridge. But that's kind of a unique outfit too. Here's a Snow King. It's one of a kind made.
Yeah.
Homemade, of course, is huge. The guy that owns it, he's drove it in here. It's big.
Yeah.
Got a motor in the back. You shift it clear back. Clear back here is where you shift it. So you got to get out of it to shift it. But
oh, wow.
It's big and ugly. We've got a video going right here. I'll get away from it a little bit. This is what we call our North Pole expedition site. That number 7, that's called an outer parka. It was worn by Walt Peterson. He was the mechanic on the expedition to the North Pole. They attempted it in 67. They didn't make it. And in 68, they did make it. There's a picture of Walt there. Outer parka was actually went to the pole and back. This is a replica. Not a really good replica, but it's a replica of what they took to the North Pole. Here's an actual, there's the video going of it. But here is this is an actual picture from the family. You can see it's a great big huge picture. That's Walt Peterson's sled right there that he actually took to the pole.
Yeah.
Those guys were crazy. I can't imagine doing that on those 1968 Skidoos. You wouldn't do it today.
No.
We've met with the different families now. They've been here. It's just amazing what these guys did. We went to the 50th reunion about 3 years ago. They wanted us to bring the outer parka. It was done in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we took the outer parka there with us and to display it. But that's a story in itself there.
Yeah.
What else? We got a little camper here. This is, there's our Antique Snowmobile Club of America summer meeting. That was an old Forge this year from Ed Stab, gave that to us to display,
Nice.
but it's sitting on top of this camper right here. It's a pull behind camper. It's folded out just like a pop-up camper you'd have behind your car. Nice. Same thing. We have, if I can get a better picture of it or not, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yes. Got my dad was a Viking dealer. I guess we'll go to that.
Yeah.
All right. There it says Lawrence Valley Viking Sales and Service in Engadine, which is 6 miles from here.
Yeah.
Dad into being a Viking dealer back in 71. This was the last year they made him, was 76. That's what we call Oz machine. They only made supposedly 100 that last year. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Suit. I've got like 35 different Vikings at home. They made the 6 different colors. They were, wow. I don't know why they didn't make it, but there's a few out your way.
Yeah.
So this was the first year they made it. 1966 is the first year they made them. They were made in Ashland, Wisconsin for the first 2 years. Then 1976 was the last year they made this one, and they were made in Twin Valley, Minnesota. First 2 years in Ashland, Wisconsin, then the rest of the time in Twin Valley, Minnesota.
You can see the level of refinement between the two sleds.
Yeah, yes, you can.
Yeah, they came a long way with it, yeah.
The steel tunnel versus the aluminum tunnel, a little wider ski stance. Yeah, they back then they made this was called the fawn color or orange one. Mm-hmm. And then they went to the turquoise colored metal flake turquoise in 68. And then they went in 71, they made the 6 different colors. And I've got all the colors at home.
Nice.
Other weird one here, the mascara. It's cool, made in Minnesota. Here's the Mercury we talked about.
Yeah.
Here's an Okaba made in Sweden. This is one that was donated from Bombardier. You can see the oval on the floor. It's part of the agreement.
Yeah.
Never be able to have this sled if Bombardier wouldn't have given it to us.
Yeah.
And then here, when they were targeting the ladies, I had to make a pinkish purple one or pinkish one.
Sure.
The little kids like the Barbie doll on the bottom.
Oh, look at that.
Down here, there's the Barbie doll. We could find before we could find them and sell them on our gift shop. Can't find them anymore.
Yeah.
That's tough for little girls that come in and they want to buy that Barbie doll.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Here's kind of a unique one too.
That the VIP?
The VIP. I'm going to pick the hood up. They only made 1 year. 74 is the only year they made it. But it's called the Catamatic. There's the Catamatic, the oil reservoir. There's the torque converter. No belt. Electric start. Kind of cool. Nobody seems to care about it though. It's a 1 year sled, but nobody, and it was brown then, not black.
Yeah.
Catamatic. Yamaha experimented with it for 2. Artie Cat did it 1 year. Yamaha did it for 2 years. We had a Yamaha in here with theirs, and they called theirs fluid drive.
Yeah.
Same deal, but theirs was called fluid drive. I don't know why it doesn't get any attention, but it doesn't. Here's one we're kind of proud of, the Way We Go.
Yeah.
I'm a Husky. I'll show you the Husky, what it started with.
Yeah.
But, the Huskies made in Quebec.
Sure.
They were yellow. They were made up until 66. They were yellow, and then they went to the Diablo Rouge, painted them red for 67, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
The Huskies had the wooden cleats. The Diablos had the aluminum cleats. This was one of our family favorites. My dad, that was our first sled we had. There was 8 of us kids. So Dad bought a used Husky. You could set 4 kids on that seat. So 4 could ride at one time instead of having 4 different sleds. 4 could play at one time.
There you go.
Still a family favorite. I probably got a dozen of these at home now myself. Matter of fact, I took one out to our daughter. Lives on a daughter and the son-in-law had to school me on Hillary. They live on Cape Cod. They Husky on Cape Cod, probably the only Husky on Cape Cod. Last year, snow for 3 days, so they ran it for 3 days and sets in the garage the rest of the time. Okay, that's so they're cool. Husky. It was made in Quebec. And then this guy here, I'm going to move this little sign. This guy here in Trinity, Michigan, which is 60 miles from here, he had a mechanic shop, the mechanic. He built his own. As you can see, he's got the same, he used steel cleats, same design as a Husky with the ironing, we call it an ironing board with skis on it.
Yeah.
Story behind that is, I'll put the sign back here. I'll take a little shot of the sign because it was 1960, Way We Go, made in Trinity, Michigan. We got a grant through Michigan Cultural Arts to restore this. So the story behind this one, I'm a Husky collector. Everybody knows the area that knows me. I collect Huskies. Well, got a call one day that there was a Husky, but it was red in Munising, an hour from here. So my wife and I, this was 30 years ago, wife and I jumped in the car, had to go get it. Got up there, and it was this thing. Had no idea. Well, you could just see the faint outline of the Way We Go. But it looked like a Husky, and no motor, so I threw it in a truck and threw it up on my top shelf, and there it's set. Oh, about 6-8 years ago, my wife calls me and says, hey, there's something on Facebook about Way We Go, a Husky. It looks like a Husky, but it's orange. I said, well, yeah, Marilyn, I have one at home. She says, what? You have one at home? I said, yeah, remember we went to like 30 years ago and picked it up in Munising. Anyway, so that got me to go online and figure out that it was made in Trinity, Michigan. So I called over Trinity to the township supervisor and asked him about it. And I told him what the story was. I found this 30 years ago, and they said now I find out it was made in Trinity, Michigan. And I was wondering if you could help me out with it. He said, no, I'm a transplant here. I don't know the history from the 50s. So has anybody do it? Yeah, you got to call this guy, Weber. He'll tell you all about it. He's been here his whole life. So I called Weber, and he didn't want to talk. He was old. He didn't want to talk to me. You got to talk to my son. Oh, okay, I'll talk to your son. Called the son. He was really cool about it. He told me the whole story. They built 5 of them, and he brought the other 3 that were strictly junk to me. So we have the other 3 plus this one. So there's one other one, and I know where it's at. So when we found all that out, we did a real cool display. We had the unveiling of the Way We Go. The family from Trinity was here. We got pictures of it. We have a video going right there.
Oh, yes.
The son had all the literature. There's some cool literature. I don't know if you can see this picture. Here's the family that was here to. Anyway, the video, he had there's some video going right now. Actual old 8mm video we put onto DVD.
Nice.
Is in the summertime, running in their 4th of July parade. It's really a cool piece for us, and it made 50 miles from here. That's cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Away we go. We got an auto ski, Phantom. It's kind of cool. Made in West Virginia. I got to make sure I got this right. The Williams Bronze Corporation in Kingswood, West Virginia. Would you imagine there'd be a snowmobile manufactured in West Virginia?
Of all places, yeah.
Right there's one. Here, the green one next to it is called the Big Boss. The story on the Big Boss, there's only 9 of these made. They were made in Lower Michigan. Cool looking sled. The guy who restored this did a beautiful job, along with that one's beautiful too. 9 of them were made. Snowflight, you can see that, and the Wheel Horse are brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
The Polar Bear, made in Connecticut. That sled there has never had gas in it. Story on that one is the guy in Wisconsin bought 4 sleds. He went out to Connecticut, bought 4 sleds. By the time he got him back to Wisconsin, he was going to be a Polar Bear distributor or dealer. Gets him back to Wisconsin. The company goes broke. He had sold one to 2 buddies, and the buddy said, "Well, I'm not going to buy that. The company went broke already. I don't need that thing."
Yeah.
So 3 of them, he ran one himself. The other 3 sat in a garage, a shed, not a garage, a shed, sat there for years, never had gas put in them. And one of our Viking buddies that owns this one donated it here to the museum. It's kind of cool. We got the pictures of them when it was sitting in the shed and when he brought them all full of dust. And so that's kind of cool. Polar Bear.
Yeah.
Never saw another one.
Yeah, for sure.
Ski Rule, Suzuki, these 2 sleds right here. We do a vintage ride out of here in February, always a weekend in February. And these were our 2 oldest riders, about 10, 15 years ago. Both the guy in the Ski Rule and the other guy on the Suzuki. The guy in this, they passed away now, and the families had put him in here. And those are sleds. They're beautiful, all original. The Ski Rule guy, Tony Rocantino, he was the Ski Rule dealer in the Sioux. Anyway, they're here. Beautiful looking sleds. Those are restored Rupp. One of the first 21 prototype 1966 prototype Arctic Cat Panthers that were made. This is another one that's got the Bombardier logo on it. So that came from Bombardier. We'd never be able to have it.
Sure.
Quite a story behind that. And then, of course, in 1967, everybody wanted to race. So we have a Cat with the 4-cylinder drone engine in it. We got the hood off it because of the drone engine. We want people to see the drone engine.
Yeah.
Got like 6, 8 of these for try to race with. Of course, Harley Davidson back on the drone. So Arctic Cat got 6, 8 of these drone engines to put in Arctic Cats for racing. Yeah. We also have that same motor. I'm going to run over here real quick. The same engine is in a Rupp. Rupp got 3 or 4 drone engines. Nobody can tell us exactly how many. Okay, but here's a Rupp. It's white instead of red. That's that version. But it's got that same drone engine in it.
Oh, yes.
Like I said, Arctic Cat got 6, 8 of them. Rupp got 3, 4 of them. And I was told Scorpion also got a few of them to put in them. Don't know the whole story. Apparently they didn't work real great because they only a few of them around.
Yeah.
Here's a Coyote. This is different. This is mine too. This is a very different looking sled and doesn't get any attention at the museum at all. Nobody seems to care. It was made in, I only knew of 2 of them. Mine and a guy in Wisconsin has one. And now a guy from Minnesota called me and he wants to buy this one. His dad worked at the company or whatever, and they've got 2 or 3. So we know of like 4 of them.
So is that a rear engine? Is that a twin track or what's going on with that?
It's a rear engine JLO, like an 18-inch track on it. Quick start JLO. It's a cool look. I've ridden it in the yard. I flipped it. It doesn't steer very good at all because the motor's in the back, 18-inch wide track, no weight up front. So I flipped it in my driveway one day when I had it home. Flipped it in the way my neighbor kid was laughing at me. But here it sits now. It's kind of cool.
I've never seen anything like that. That's cool.
All original.
Wow.
We talked about the Timberwolf last time. Oh, here's a cool story too. The Thunderjet. Next week we'll be able to show you another. This is, everybody knows the Thunderjets. This is another little bit of a race section. There's an EXT, but the Thunderjet. We're tomorrow, being Friday, we're going to get Jim Adema was a big time Thunderjet racer, motor builder. Everybody knows Jim Adema's.
Sure.
We got his book. They know the story about Jim Adema. There's a picture of him right there. Well, he took a 292 Yamaha engine, and he kept tweaking it, and it would burn pistons. So he said, well, I got to do something to cool this. So he put his own water jacket around a little 292 Yamaha engine, put a water jacket around it to keep it cool so he could tweak it more. And of course, Jim Adema was a big time. Well, he made Snowjet or Thunderjets what they are today. We're actually going to have that sled in here tomorrow. It's finally been working on that for about 10 years to get that sled here, and the guy that owns it, Dana Wilsey, is going to have it here supposedly tomorrow. So
nice.
It's all original. So we'll have the restored one there, and then right here where this red thing is, we'll have the Jim Adema's single cylinder Yamaha with a water jacket around it.
Nice.
Can't wait. Hopefully it's here tomorrow.
Nice.
It's quite a story. We didn't talk about the Bozak Power Toboggan.
No.
Okay, here's a Bozak Power Toboggan. This is mine. Story. There's a story behind every one of them, but this is kind of cool. It's got two V belts you can see right there, and it's cable right here. So no centrifugal clutch, as you can see, just the V belts. So what you did, there's a lock on it. That cable leads up to a lever in the front, and you put your foot on that. It'll loosen up the belt. There's a lock. You can lock it in position. That loosens up the belt. You start it, and then you let go release the cable, so it tightens the springs, pull the motor tight, and away you go. But here's the shifting, forward and reverse. These two knobs right here.
Yeah.
And it's got the GM transmission on it. I can give you a better shot of that. It's the old 3-speed on the column. That's what this was. That's what he used.
Yeah.
He also used some Fords, but this has got the GM transmission. This is mine. I've run it. I ran it 2 or 3 years ago. We went out to Pequot Lakes, Minnesota with it. It's very, very cool.
Now, is that rear section cantilevered so it'll drop down?
Yeah, see right
for
there.
A better bite, so the track can get a better bite?
Right. That's how much movement you got right here.
There we go. Yeah.
All you have. And the way I got it is the story behind that, if you want to hear it or not.
Sure, yeah.
I belonged to the Antique Snowmobile Club of America for a long, long, long time. And this was in the 80s, early 80s. It's before the smartphones and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I had in somebody had put an ad in the Antiques newsletter, Antique Snowmobile Club of America's newsletter, that they were looking for trail. Well, I had 4 or 5 trail makers because there was a dealer in our area by Brimley. So I had 4 or 5 trail makers, and he was looking to complete his collection, needed a trail maker. So I wrote him back, yes, I have a trail maker. He said, would you be willing to trade for a Bozak Power Toboggan? Remember, now this was in the early 80s. I was young and dumb.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what a Bozak Power Toboggan is.
Yeah.
So he said, well, go to the Warriors of Winter book. That was the Bible back in the day, the Warriors of Winter.
Yeah.
Go to page 18 or whatever page he said, and there will be a story about Mike Bozak. So I went to that book and read the story about it, and we have a copy of it here somewhere. Mm-hmm. Read the story about it, so I called him and said, yes, I will trade you my trail maker for this Bozak Power Toboggan. Huh. So he from Winnipeg. He was from Winnipeg, Canada. Well, not Winnipeg, Broken Arrow, which is outside of Beausejour, by Winnipeg, just east of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
He brought the trail maker. He brought this down to me in an old Ford pickup and took my trail maker back. and I restored it in an old. I didn't even have a heated garage at the time, so I restored it there. So this has got some sentimental value to me, I guess you'd call it, and it does run. And I'm not a painter. My buddy painted it, but it was all done in a. Well, the tearing down and putting together was done in a coal garage. Of course, we painted it in a good garage, but the GM transmission is cool, and I can't show you, but it's actually stamped right down there, GM. Like I said, he put some Ford transmission. I got a buddy that's got one with a Ford transmission on it.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Oh, and I took a weekend. My wife and I took a week and went up to Winnipeg in July. Like July of 82 or 83, whatever year it was. And my buddies at work said, what are you going to Winnipeg in the middle of the summertime to get skis for this power toboggan? As well, they still make them. The grandson was still making, I'm going to get down here on the floor. Okay, so this is all wood right here. That's all wood. And that bends around up here like this. It's got a bend to it. Well, he was still making those skis because of they made pull behind sleighs with that same ski design. So he had the bend for it. So Marilyn and I went to Winnipeg in July to pick up skis for a Bozak power toboggan. My buddies at work thought I was crazy. But so I have the original wooden, you could say the original wooden skis because they were made by Bozak.
Yeah.
The original ones, but it's wood framed. You can see the wood, the cross arms are wood in it. There's one there. And there's one up there that's wood. It was screwed together down on the bottom here. Sheet metal screws was to hold the frame, the metal to the wooden pieces. We actually went out to Bozak's farm. His name was Mike. Mike had passed away already, but we got to meet his wife. And now this is her story. She said the Johnson boys from Minnesota, where Polaris was made, the Bozak was made a couple hours north of Roseau, Minnesota, into Canada. She said those boys, they would come down here and take pictures of what my husband was doing. And so that's where, according to her, not me, that's her story. This is where David Johnson with Polaris got their idea to build their first sled. I'm just repeating the story from Mrs. Bozak.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
So I don't think she was lying to me.
Right.
We actually went, it was kind of cool. We actually went to the farm, the garage that these were actually made in. That's neat. Anyway, you getting tired of me yet?
No, this is good.
Here's some.
But we've got about 10 more minutes left.
Let's
but go ahead.
Let's go to our gift shop then, and we want to plug that part. There's a picture up there, the Antique Snowmobile Club of America. It's got I don't know if you can see it or not. It's got a bunch of sleds and a ride we were on. All the different signs and stuff we have on the ceilings. The light up signs we have. More signs here. A little bit of everything. We didn't get to the Fox track. We didn't get to this thing made in Ohio. We didn't get to the Snow Bunny. We didn't get to the motel. Oh, we'll do that next time, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to do it another time. And there is a sled that caught my eye. I'd like to take a look at it. It was directly across from that twin track Mercury. It said something. It was orange, and it said something like cat. I don't know if it's an Arcticat, an orange Arcticat, or if it's some other brand that had cat.
Oh, it could have been Fin Cat.
That's got to be it. Yes. Because that caught my eye. There it is right there.
Yeah.
I was curious about that. That caught my eye when we were over there.
Yes, there's another one. It's Fin Cat. No skis, just an 18-inch called the Flex Track. Yeah. And everybody know how it steers. Well, the first 18 inches of that track will flex, and that's what it turns. But you see these knee bump pads here? I'm going to jump on. I don't know if I can.
Use that for body English?
Yeah. Okay, I don't have to jump on it. That's what you use pads for.
And then there was another one just around to your right. There was another sled.
Oh, the Raider. We didn't get to those either. The Trail Roamer. We have all three.
But to the right of that, even there was an orange one right by the door. Swing around right there. That's the one I was curious about. Well,
This
that
is
is a cat. Okay.
this guy is a prefabricator, a machinist. He's retired. He does an awesome job. There's a whole bunch of history. I mean, not history. He's there's a list on the front of it. What's in it? It's got a little Onan diesel engine in it. It's got
Wow.
a transmission out of a Johnson OMC. I can't remember it all. And of course, the stretch in the hood is stretched out. He's really talented. He does something. Excuse me. Every year he'll build some other creation. We call it.
That's truly unique. Yeah.
Yes, and it runs. He's going to take this one out and bring in one of his other contraptions that he's made. Yep. Of course, the snow bike, here, Chrysler Snow Runner,
Chrysler. Yeah.
the air sled. We didn't get to all three versions. We'll start over here at the start.
Sure. Sure.
The Raider. They started with the Raider in the 70s. They made quite a few of those. Then they went to the Manta in the 80s. Not very many. And then actually in 2000, this is a 2001 Trail Roamer. There's comments they only made 50. Nobody, don't know how many were made, but all three, those were all made in Michigan. Bob Bracey was the guy that started with this twin track Raider, and then he went to the Manta, and then he went to this. Never did make it. Okay, I want to get out here to the gift shop. We have here's McCullough snowmobile engine. McCullough tried getting into the snowmobile market. There's a story behind that one. Here we have a cutaway of a rotary engine, how the rotary engine works. We have another cutaway of a regular one, a piston-driven engine. But I'll get out here. We only got a few minutes left. I'll get out. And we have 185 sleds here. We have a website, snowmobilemuseum.com. We have a Facebook page, all kinds of stuff. But I don't know if I got this last time where it says where the history of snowmobiling comes to life. This is where you walk into our gift shop. There's a fireplace. We sit by and chat a little bit. We have a fireside chat. Yeah. This is something that's unique to us. Are the light switch covers. That's our design there. Got all kinds of that stuff. Oh, here's another thing is our design. Our kids rockers. This is our design. They're for kids.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. That's a special ordered one. We got the Polaris version on the floor. We got a Husky one back there. Here's a point going to paint himself. That's our design. There's a story behind that. We'll get to that next time.
Yeah.
We got mugs. We got prints. Poker Run one is just about sold out by now. It's just about sold out now. I was going to tell you about these 16-inch squares we were talking about.
Yeah.
They are there. They've got the Budweiser, Blatz beer. Those were the ones I told you were made off patches.
Yeah.
We 30 some different designs. We got our clothing. Of course, got to have clothing.
Yeah.
T-shirt. Some more stuff here. Here's an actual puzzle that was made of inside of our building, or a picture inside the building. It's made into a now. This is something new. We just got these thermometers. They're made.
I like that.
We try to buy stuff here locally. Here we've got coat hooks made in Minnesota. Also different coat hooks, all different varieties of that stuff.
Nice.
That's all on our webpage. What else am I missing? Got banners all along the top. I'll slow down here. Oh, I want to show you our meeting room real quick too. Of course, we have our bathrooms. We get comments on our nice, clean bathrooms.
Oh, good.
Sandy's here cleaning this morning. This is our meeting room. This is where we, I hate to say party, but when we have our snowmobile events and things, yes, we do have a few little drinks in here.
Nice.
We have coffee around the corner, a little kitchenette with our coffee pot and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We rent this room out to help pay the bills to local snowmobile clubs. Well, snowmobile clubs don't charge. Our Cloven Electric is our electric company. They hold safety meetings here. The DNR will meet here. State police will meet here. Different groups we rent this to. Like I said, it helps pay the bills.
Yeah, someone needs a conference room. That's a nice one.
Yes. And then our little town of Naubinway doesn't have much of that at all. So it worked out good. The banker, when he told me when we went to the bank to borrow the money, I told him we wanted to put this conference room in for our own meeting room, and then we would rent it out to different people. He said, well, that'll help pay the bills. Really?
Yeah, for sure.
I gave Bill to become a banker.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me that. Yeah, I knew better. All right. How we doing? We're
We're
good?
doing good. And I wanted to add that if anyone was viewing and anything caught their eye in the gift shop, there's links in the description to the gift shop, to the Facebook page, to the website. So if anything caught your eye as he was panning around there and you're thinking about buying it, just get on the website or give them a call. This is a chance to put your phone number out there. What's your phone number over there, Charlie, at the museum?
Phone number's 906-477-6298. And I forgot to mention we have a penny press right here, a penny smasher.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yep, there's 4 different designs on the penny press. One of them is a snowmobile, of course. Yes, a little bit of everything. We try. Oh, back on the website, our clothing is not on the website, but pretty much everything else is in our online store.
Nice. So any questions at all, just call and ask. Yeah.
Yeah, or you call and ask. I like talking on the phone.
Nice. Is that a Christmas tree with some snowmobile ornaments on it?
And the lights didn't, Marilyn's not here, so the lights didn't get turned on right there. We even light them up. Oh, and the cool
there
thing
we
about
go.
our Polaris made these little things.
Oh, right, I love it. Yeah.
Polaris is lit up as a Polaris.
And you can buy a string of those? Is that how that works?
It used to be able to buy a string of those. Yes.
That is cool.
It's Christmas year round here.
Nice.
And of course, we got this little guy that'll sing us a tune if I can get it pulled out. Where is it? Oh, maybe something you pull on here and he plays a tune. Oh, well. Can't figure that. I tried.
Sure.
Anywho, this is the latest and greatest thing we just hung up yesterday. We're always getting stuff. So up here, during our swap meet, and some guys remember the Sioux, Michigan I was telling you about where the I-500 is? That was from Chippewa County is there. And that sign actually is what they used to use on the roadways.
Wow.
Can't tell you who gave it to us. That was back in the 70s. So we got all kinds of stuff like that hanging around. That was clear back in the 70s. Another cool thing right here is a chainsaw carving. When you come in the front door, during our show, different shows we do, chainsaw, he would do it. So guess what's on there? A husky, because I'm a husky guy. Of course, we have the Arctic Cat.
Arctic Cat, Ski-Doo, Polaris. That is very nice.
Yep. Ski-Doo. No Yamaha.
Sure.
Put a husky there and said, I'm a husky collector. That chainsaw art. There's some other chainsaw art in here too. If I saw it, you shut me off anytime you want me to.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to show you one more chainsaw carving.
Yeah.
Guy's almost as talented as I am. Oh, not really. I'm also a snowbug collector. I got a bunch of snowbugs. So one year he did a chainsaw carving.
Oh, that's a carving. I was wondering about that. Yeah.
A chainsaw carving, a block of wood that he carved with a chainsaw to look like a snowbug.
Wow.
The guys that own snowbugs are talking about. And of course, one year he had, remember, I'm a husky collector. So one year he had to do a husky. I'll show you that one. Right there is the husky.
Yeah.
Carving. I'll try and put that down. There's the husky chainsaw carving.
Very cool. Lift the camera up just a little bit if you would, because we've got that banner at the top. There we go. Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
Yes.
That is cool. That's a good guy to know who does those.
Yeah. There's another shot. Whoa. Another shot of it there. Here's some Arctic Cat mitts and hats that we have. Lots of, I forgot about the smiley faces made out of ceramics back in the day. Those things.
Oh, yeah. Right? I love those.
Yeah. We got that one. Got another one there. We got one here. looks like a Suzuki. Right here by the Suzuki is one that was painted to look like a Suzuki. There's a story behind that one also.
Yeah.
We've got 10, 12 of them. There's an orange one too.
Trying to go for a motor ski look.
Yep.
Nice.
Another one over here. This was donated in the corner. That was donated by the Hale Trailblazers Snowmobile Club. Of course, we've got one that looks like an Artie Cat somewhere. Anyway, how do we do?
That was awesome. I really appreciate it. And sometime, if you're interested, if you have wherever you have your personal collection stored, if you have a good Wi-Fi signal over there, I'd like to try to do something like this from there if you're open to it at some point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My signal isn't real good out there, but
sure.
The garage. I got 3 garages. The far garage is where I got the majority of them, but maybe this we get them out in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah, and even if you don't have signal, if you ever feel like taking your cell phone out and doing some video, just like we just did here, just kind of walk around and talk them up and send me the video. I'll put it up, because this goes out to 8 different places on Facebook and YouTube. So any kind of video like that you send me, I can put it in front of a lot of people.
Cool. There's our oil can collection. There's some little kid sleds up on top.
Yeah.
And Dave's small engine repair, Mercury snowmobile sales. That came from Wisconsin somewhere. We got all kinds of stuff. Like you can get a picture of the air sled. Okay, there's the air sled.
Nice.
We got some people that really backed the museum. Tony from Minnesota, young guy.
Yeah. He's
finding his stuff. This sign right here. That's an actual sign, and it says this sign he erected in 19.
The camera up a little bit.
West Main Street, Crosby. It was displayed there for years. That was it. Scorpion was made in Crosby, Minnesota, and that's where that sign came from. It was at their entrance to their community, that sign. So Tony got it and donated it here, and there it is.
Very cool.
Also got this. See, it says Polaris, the lineup. That was for their 50th anniversary Polarises. And, of course, Tony, he came up with that. That's an actual sign. Parade lineup. It was cool with an arrow showing you where to go. Tony brought it here, bought it at a live auction or a fundraising auction, and brought it here. We didn't even hit the library either. That's another story in itself. But if it's time to go, it's time to go.
Sure. But yeah, I really appreciate this, and I'd like to do this another time. And just try to keep in mind anything we haven't looked at today. We'll set up a time and we'll do it all again. Anything that we haven't looked at.
All right.
Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is tonight we're doing our season premiere of the Vintage Snowmobile podcast, and I'm going to do an excerpt of what we did last week. So be sure and tune into that, and you can watch a few minutes of what we did last week on tonight's podcast.
Awesome. Thank you,
Charlie. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. This has been a wonderful hour checking out everything in the museum. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. I do too. Thanks a lot.
All righty. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.